take every opportunity to wear this jacket.
As you should.
I've had to launder it several times because it just starts to reek so bad because I wear it for everything. It's my most prized possession.
Sounds like a good jacket to have.
Yeah.
I'm going to soak up the whole experience. So I want to be there at the dinner and at the pre-race chat and all that. So that's my plan, is to be fully involved.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is something I've been doing for a while, is the soft open of the of the Barret Trail podcast. I just start recording and we go for it. Yeah, so it's the Barret Trail podcast tonight. Damn, I'm trying to flex and I've got my coat and my microphone going awry here. So
throwing you off.
Yeah, it is me, Sam Kirk, here in the Barret Trail podcast with Simon Arendt tonight, getting ready to go to the Hellgate 100k. Not quite.
Can't wait.
Well, I shouldn't say it's not quite 100k. It's not quite 70 miles.
The almost 70 mile 100K.
Almost 60. Yeah, almost 67 miles. Almost 6'7".
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, we gotta stay up with the times.
I have to make a 6'7" joke for sure.
Hey, you know what? I think I might have got 6'7" last year when I went off course. So
there you go.
That's how you do it.
Well, that makes more sense because I've been looking at your Strava file has been the one I've looked at the most. So
okay, yeah. So you're shooting for 11:29.
I hope so. That I would be thrilled with 11:29. It's a badass time, dude. It was mostly like, oh man, my friend Sam killed it. Like maybe I can do this. So I was trying to soak it up a little bit.
Well, absolutely, yeah. Well, we're gonna get into it here on a bunch of things. Simon and I talked like for 0 minutes before getting into this podcast, so he has no idea what's coming. Neither do I, and we're just gonna feel it out here and enjoy some catching up and some figuring out of the Hellgate 100k, which is an awesome event down in Natural Bridge Station, Virginia. I think you're gonna get like a great little weather window, right?
I think
it looks like you're just gonna make it, right? Like it's gonna be pretty good, but it could have been pretty brutal too.
It could have been. We got a couple of emails. We got a couple of emails over the last week or two, warning us about the potential harshness. It sounds like they got a bunch. We got like a couple inches of snow this weekend, and they got a bunch more. I know some parts of Virginia got like at least 3 or 4 inches. So if it warms up at all, then maybe the snow won't be there. But I think it's covered in snow currently. So
well, you know what? We can get into some of these things, but snow, especially at the front of the race, is not the worst thing.
No, it's I like running in the snow. We'll get into it, but I'm going down to this race to have the full on experience. My year was made when I finished the Massanutten 100 miler, and this is like all bonus. So I'm going down there to soak it up and go duke it out with a bunch of other fast dudes from around the area, and I'm going for the full experience. So
yeah, well, I think that's the way to do it, because it is an experience, and it is, I think, at least it's unlike any race that I've ever done. And it seems like I didn't know about the pre-race meal. I didn't know about the talk and all this kind of stuff. I mean, it was like mentioned to me a little bit, and maybe you don't really know about it either because you haven't been there, but it is very different than any other trail race that you've ever participated in. It's almost like, it reminds me more of cross-country camp, than a race, because you're like bunking up and like with other people, everybody eats together. Then you have like this story time with like, old hats talking about how it was back in the day and this kind of stuff. And like, telling stories about all these legends that you don't even know who the hell they are, uh, but it's a good time. It's a good time. Yeah.
It sounds like it. I mean,
Yeah.
I've been following along for a couple of years, and I know the start lines or like the results. I guess I don't know who doesn't finish, but the results are so much fun to look at. It's just like a who's who of like Maryland, Pennsylvania, Virginia crushers. Like it's other people probably don't know about these dudes just because why would they? It's like there's a couple pros like through the years too, but it's cool. Like all these guys that I've been watching race all the races around me for years, like there's a bunch of them are here. And so I'm going to go meet these dudes and women too. There's a bunch of badass women on the list this year. People I've heard of. And there's one other guy going from Frederick that I run with him every once in a while. Yeah, I'm like I said, going to soak it up. I gotta shout out Aaron Kelman. My guy Aaron has run this race like 13, at least 10 times.
Okay.
Maybe 12 or 13. He is from outside of DC or lived outside of DC for a long time, and now I've moved to Illinois. And he's coming back this year. He just crushed it at Stone Mill, so he's gonna have a good day. He's the one that kind of told me some of the lore and shared. He didn't really expand upon much that went on there, but he said that I needed to be there for the dinner and I needed to be there for the talk. So don't plan on and the long early ride to the start line. He notified me to let me know that I probably wasn't going to get that nap I was hoping I would get.
Yeah, you might get a little bit of one. Not as if you go to the, which you kind of have to do a little bit. Like I think some people skip the dinner and then go to the meeting, the pre-race meeting or whatever.
Yeah.
Which is just kind of like, a bunch of people sitting cross-legged in a room and a couple of people trying to stretch and everybody just, figuring it out or whatever. But the dinner is something. It's not as special as the meeting though. Right? Like it's a big group dinner.
Sure. I think I'm probably going to bring my own meal and maybe eat it amongst the crowd. Those pre-race dinners are not my favorite. If I want, that's what I'm trying to figure out is like, how do I eat before this midnight race?
Well, the other thing is that it's more like considering that you're starting the race at midnight, it's more of like a pre-race breakfast that happens to be pasta and salad.
It's true. It is. I will just tell my body this is breakfast. This is breakfast.
Yeah. I definitely overdid it. And trying to like load up. Some people were like commenting to me last year. They're like, you might not want to be going back for like seconds right now, bud. Like that's not going to feel too good in a little while. And they were right. They were definitely right.
Well, we didn't really touch base at all, except that you said there were a number of bathroom breaks during your Hellgate. So it's making more sense now.
Yeah. Well, it's not uncommon for any ultra runner to be taking plenty of bathroom breaks. And we don't have to check in too much about my race. We're talking about the future here. We don't want to dwell on the past too much.
I would love to dwell on the past.
Well, yeah, I'll tell you a little bit about it. But so for those who don't know about Hellgate, Hellgate is a 100k-ish race, 66.6 miles that runs through the Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia. It is a point-to-point race starting at 12:01 in sort of closest to the darkest time of the year. And so everybody goes out in the middle of the night. We sing the national anthem, and we run off into the night with one another. And I think, opposed to these races that have, maybe it's a 6 p.m. start, or, that are trying to give you the overnight run, there are not a whole lot of races that start in the night. And I think that's kind of what makes this race a little bit different. I have to say, I've done Grindstone a couple of times, which, you run through the night. Everybody's running through the night, but you start in daylight. And I think the difference with a race that starts in the night is you immediately pack up. You pack up immediately because the lights are all there. There's no spreading out. Everybody packs up, and so you're going to get, hopefully, I mean, I hope you don't prove me wrong with this, Simon, because I think that's one of the real special things about this race is that you're going to run with other people for more time than you could possibly imagine in any 100K. Like, it's fantastic. It's fantastic the amount of time you get to spend with other people out there, and the people that you're going to get to know. And I don't think you're going to have a big moon this year because we just had a big moon.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be
minimal.
Yeah. So you might not have a whole lot of headlampless running, but that's pretty cool too, because there are these climbs that are, 4, 5, 6 miles. Like, I don't remember how long they felt like they were 4, 5, 6 miles long. Like, they felt like pretty long climbs. And for most of it, you just have your headlamp off, and like, you're running with people who know the course because they've run it, half a dozen times or whatever. And you just trust them. You'd be like, all right, I'm just going to run with you guys. Like, I'm not going to see any markers or any turns in the trail. I'm just going to follow these guys and see what happens. But that's like the really cool thing about it. It's just getting out there, grouping up, having that camaraderie for like 3/4 of the race, which is
great.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm definitely. I saw that you commented on that in your Strava post after the race, and that sounds cool. I mean, I think that's what really drew me to this race. Is like, so it'll be, it seems like that's one of the themes of the people that show up to this race. They like to see what happens, and the fact that it seems like the top 10 kind of pretty regularly finish within an hour or two of each other. That's pretty cool for 12.
All right, Simon. So let's talk about your training and how that has been going leading up to Hellgate here, and how you're feeling coming in.
For sure, yeah. I mean, I had my second child this year. So I've got a baby, newborn. He's 3 months old. So I've been getting it in when I can. It's been a good couple of months. I did my turkey trot and PR'd at the turkey trot. So that was a little confidence boost.
You did. So to be clear, it wasn't that you peed at the turkey trot, you PR'd.
I mean, I peed afterwards for sure. But yeah, that actually, there was, I wasn't sure if I was going to have to pee during the turkey trot. But
sometimes those are through some residential neighborhoods, so you got to be careful.
You never know. So turkey trot went well. That was fun. But I ran my first 100-miler this year, and so the rest of this is bonus. That was my big goal, was finish my 100-miler and then see how the rest of the year went. And I didn't apply for Hellgate till like right at the deadline, so I didn't get notified till like the second group of people. So I really only had like 2 months. It was like mid-October that I knew I was in. So I did a little bit of specific stuff, but just kind of tried to up the volume and the intensity a little bit.
Yeah, look, it's one of those ones where you get out there and you get after it. As we were talking about before, there's a chance there's going to be some snow on the course. Could be one of these things where it's helpful or hurtful. I think you were mentioning that you kind of like snow running. Do you like 66.6 miles of snow running?
Yeah, I guess we're about to find out. I like when the snow is fresh, and it doesn't sound like it will be fresh by Friday at midnight. So,
do you run with traction in the off season?
I've used some Yak tracks. There was like a pair of like Black Diamond actual sort of spikes that I had at one point, but they had like legit like chains on them.
Like
they were a little bit heavier duty.
Sorry, like micro spikes.
Yeah, they're a little more like that. Yeah, I hadn't even thought about the traction for the Hellgate, but
yeah, here's my recommendation. Get some exo spikes. So these are made I think they're made by Catula. Who makes micro spikes. But the exo spikes, it's like a rubber sheath, and it has little, like, I almost say like titanium spikes, and they're smaller than like cross country spikes. Yep. It's enough that if you're running on ice, you could sprint and like make turns on ice. Like they grip in like that. And in snow, they're not going to do very much at all, other than like give you a little bit of a wider, because like the rubber is going to make your shoe a little bit wider. It's going to give you a little bit more there. But like if you're hitting rocks and stuff like that, it's not going to be super. It's not like micro spikes where it's like going to be crazy, like micro spikes, you're hitting rocks, they're going nuts, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And or the Black Diamond ones that you probably had, that type of thing. And even Yak tracks have a lot more going on like, so I think the exo spikes are really good for the type of running that we run into, where we're mostly just trying to like deal with ice when we hit it.
Yeah, that would be the only trouble, would be anything that was like slick, like I said, like not fresh, frozen over, icy bit.
Yeah, so like if you can stash those pretty easily.
Yeah,
you can find them pretty easily. I highly recommend you get yourself some exo spikes.
All right, I appreciate that.
And even like, you might not use them at Hellgate, but
I'll use them eventually.
Yeah, they'll come in handy at some point.
Yeah, and it's kind of like, putting the rain fly on your tent. I'll bring the exo spikes, and maybe then I won't need them.
Yeah. So have you done a deep dive into the start list yet?
I have, yeah, for sure. I wrote down a couple names because I thought you might ask. Because there's some crushers out there. Yeah, I was curious to see your opinion. I know there's a couple of regulars. There's some longtime regulars. There's some sort of newer regulars. I had to shout out Aaron Kelman, and I gotta shout out my boy Adrian Spencer's coming from Maryland. He's a beast. And then a buddy of mine who's not running but was on the initial list. One of his buddies, Tom Teague, I think his name is.
Okay.
I definitely had to shout out Tom. Tom's from upstate New York. I've never met Tom, but Tom is a beast, and I'm looking forward to meeting Tom this weekend.
Well, that's the thing about this race, is just about everybody in this race is a beast.
They gotta be.
Yeah, there's no space for anybody who isn't. But I know that you're eyeing one of these lovely jackets.
Looks nice.
And so you've got some competition. I have looked it up here, and you've got some big returners coming back. and also some new guys like yourself who I think will be right up there. We had somebody that we raced at Hat 50k. Brandon Fogarty is going to be there.
I saw he was one that I wrote down. I know he's a PA guy. So
yeah, and will be new to this course, I think.
Yeah.
So
and fast.
Yeah.
I know he's fast.
Yeah. So that's one that I think other people, all the other podcasts who are previewing the Hellgate 100k, they might miss Brandon Fogarty.
Yeah, sleeper for your for your fantasy free trail.
Yeah. These big returners who I think I'm guessing you've noticed these as well. Aaron Slobach, known as Butch, is probably sort of the headliner here. Last year's champion. He's got I think two or three of the top 10 times on the course. So big,
he ran a
heavy hitter.
25 one year, I think. I was looking at a couple of the years past. So that's legit.
Yeah, he's gone fast. Yeah.
And he's had a good year.
Quite frankly, I didn't once I saw him on here, I didn't even look at what he'd done this year. So what's Butch done this year?
Well, he ran, and I'm pretty sure he got second behind Caleb Bowen at that the Hurricane 100k in West Virginia. It's got all that prize money randomly.
Okay, yeah.
He got second place at that, and Caleb Bowen ran out of his mind, and Butch was second to him there. I just remember that was the last one I saw. I think he did something else earlier in the year. But he's been Strava dark. He's gone silent on Strava, so that's certainly not a good sign for the rest of us.
Oh, I mean, in some ways, yeah. I feel like people have a lot of reasons for doing that, myself included.
Well, yeah,
and it's not always because you're trying. It's not always because you're trying to hide all the cool stuff you're doing. It may just be because you're trying to create some mental space.
Either way, he's prepping. He's taking this seriously. That was the only thing I assumed.
Yeah. It could be, or he could be going in a different direction. You just don't know.
Well, I have an inside scoop down there in Blacksburg that said that he has been training. So
yeah. Well, that's also not very surprising.
No. Yeah, I'm looking forward to meeting him. A buddy of mine in Frederick here, a running friend of mine, met him at some 50K 10 years ago, and said he's a really good guy. So I'm looking forward to meeting him. Seems like a nice dude.
Yeah. Well, hopefully you'll share some miles. I remember him going out pretty hard last year, so you'll have to get after it. Another person who I expect to go out hard is Jordan Chang. Also went out pretty hard last year. I think with Butch for most of the time, and then kind of came back to the rest of us late in the race. So expect him to be going out hard. We've got two Andersons in the race. John Anderson, who has been doing this race for quite some time. I shared a lot of miles with him last year. Him and Chris Roberts, and then we've got Ryan Anderson as well, who looks like I don't know what Ryan's history is with the race, but looks to be a very, very strong runner.
Yeah,
have you looked into Ryan
as well? I've never heard of him or anything, but I was combing through the list over the last couple of weeks and trying to randomly look people up on Strava, and he looks fast. I was looking him up yesterday, and I don't know if you're familiar with him, but another PA guy, Carl Bligan.
Carl Bligan. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I've met him briefly at Massanutten. He's super involved with the VHTRC. but he seems like he's getting ready for a big day too. And my sleeper pick is this dude Marcus Welker. I found
Marcus Welker.
Like,
all right, let me look this guy up while you're talking about him.
His nickname on Strava is Scope, which is badass. But yeah, he's fast, and he's been like mega crushing over the last couple of months. He was a good follow for the last like month, as I was not really training as much as I wish I could. This guy he was getting in all the big weeks, and so I didn't look up his ultra sign up until like yesterday, but he's had some good, like ran the Hellbender 100.
Oh yeah.
He's the one that I hadn't heard of that I think is going to be my one of my podium picks for sure. I think he's going to do well.
Yeah, that's a great sleeper pick. I love it. Yeah.
I got deep.
You definitely did. I mean, I was up in the A's with John Anderson and Ryan Anderson. So, I didn't get all that, and it was other people that I knew. One of the other things I want to point out is so this race brings people back over and over and over and over again. And
Clearly.
So there are a couple of people on the men's side. We've got Jerry Turk coming back, has the record for the oldest finisher in the race, and is coming back again this year. So looking to extend that. And on the women's side, Cheryl Wheeler, and I believe Cheryl Wheeler, if I'm not mistaken, has a couple of other races where she's got long time finishes and things like that. Cheryl Wheeler's got a little bit of a history here, and
Cool.
And she is going to be going. I'm not absolutely certain about this, but I think that if she gets a finish this year, she might be the oldest finisher on the female side. So this would be her. She would be 62, and or maybe tied for it, or in the same year as the oldest finisher, because the oldest female finisher is also at 62. So in any case, we have some people throwing down for those times, and Cheryl Wheeler and Jerry Turk, both many time finishers of this race. Kind of big deals for sure. Chris Roberts, who I got to spend a good bit of time with, I think I'd mentioned him briefly before on this race, who did the Western States and Hard Rock double last year.
Wow.
Big time. I believe Ryan Anderson also did Hard Rock last year. Not sure about that, but Chris Roberts.
Right. I was looking up somebody that did. It's all blending together in my head, but
yeah. So we got a couple of Hard Rock finishers coming here, which is a big statement for this race. But right,
yeah.
This this race has the kind of draw that Hard Rock does. It's maybe not the same wait list, but the same kinds of people are coming to this race and saying, hey, this is what we want to do. So I think that's pretty cool.
I mean, I looked up over the course of a month, maybe 10 to 15 of these guys. They all are badass ultra signups, 15, 20, 30 races, maybe one of them's Hard Rock, the Cruel Jewel, something gnarly. Yeah, I was pretty impressed. Usually any old race of 50K, there's all kinds of people that, haven't raced a whole lot, but it's cool to have this be full of folks, experienced people. I'm not super experienced, but a lot, certainly compared to my friends, and a lot of some of the people I race in these 50Ks, but it's going to be cool. That was one reason why I'm going to just go and soak it all up, because it's man, I'm surrounded by people that are doing what I want to do, that's like, I want to look back in 5-10 more years and have my ultra sign up look like theirs.
Yeah. I think that I think what's cool about this race is that it's kind of weird and interesting and fun, but it also isn't, it's not like, it is not like a graduate level race. Does that make sense? Like,
it does, yeah.
Like they put some barriers in place for, they want people to be able to finish it and this sort of thing. But the race itself is not, it's not overly challenging from like an exposure standpoint, or the terrain itself is not like dangerous. I guess, I don't know. Like, what do you want to say? Like, it's, I think it's like 12,000 feet over 66 miles.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work, but it's not one that is, it's not like Hard Rock, right? It's not like that.
Yeah. I mean, I was curious about the course, and because the times are like sort of reasonably speedy, for 66 miles. And, certainly, like, yeah, it seems like not a whole lot of like really pure sort of single track. It seems like a lot of the climbs in particular are, like you said, a little longer and a little like punchy probably, but like it looks pretty runnable. I'm prepared for some hiking, but it seems like the times at least reflect, you can run a lot of it, it looks like, if you feel good.
Yeah. There's not a lot of hiking in the race, like, at least from what I remember, especially because most of the climbing is on like fire roads.
Yeah. That's what it looks like.
So you don't have a whole lot of technicality to deal with there. It's also not as steep because it's a road.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of climbing late in the race that is kind of hike climbing, or if you're really you're not running very fast up this stuff. It's steep, yeah, towards the end, before your final descent. But there's like 2 sections in there that, like kind of towards the end, that you got to figure out how to climb it. Yeah, it's not super runnable.
Sure.
But it's also not crazy slow in those sections either. So there's no part of the race that is like crazy slow. And let's see, I ran 11:30. And I mean, I would say I like, just from a running standpoint, there's a lot of time left out there just on how prepared I was, at 43 years old. So, I mean, this course could go real fast. Maybe the darkness slows it down a little bit. Yeah. And stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, there's, if you really knew this, you could move through it. There's a lot of really, really runnable terrain in this.
Like if you knew it as well as Butch knows it.
I don't know how well I'm sure he knows it pretty well, but like, yeah, like even in the darkness, it wasn't that bad,
Cool. Yeah, I mean that was kind of what it looked like just from looking at all the results and looking at the map. That like you're on that horse trail and then on some sort of a road in between. So there is, I think they closed the parkway. That was in one of our update emails. So I think that's gonna, I'm not bringing a crew. I'm just going solo down on Saturday, back on Saturday.
That's what I
after
did.
a nap. So
It's a very good course to do that in.
Cool.
I think that's fine. Yeah, I didn't use a crew either.
And I like that if you're trying to get in the top 10, no pacer allowed. I like that rule. So
I think it's kind of funny though.
It is funny. It's like
what happens if like you end up in the top 10 and you're like have a pacer?
Yeah, you didn't plan on it, or vice versa. You planned on it, but then it blows up in your face, and then you want somebody to run with.
I don't know. Quite frankly, you run with people for so much of that race.
I don't
know. Maybe it runs very different for other people, but I don't know why you would run it differently. I don't know why you wouldn't link up and run with people for a long period of time.
I mean, that's what I like doing that. I like some of my, favorite races is when you look up 4 or 5 hours in and you're like, oh man, we've been talking the whole time, just been hanging out with these guys. That's a good way to do it, in my opinion, for sure. And because especially like sometimes if you're really trying to push it, you don't really know if you're going to find someone that's really trying to push it. But it sounds like in this crowd, there'll be plenty of people up there. So that's exciting too.
Yeah. I suggest you try to link up with Chris Roberts.
All right. Cool. Good to know.
I think that's because I think he'll be him and John Anderson will be running together. This is actually one of the so last year when we did the preview and was talking with Mike McMonigal about, I said his name improperly the first time, McMonigal. Yeah. When I was talking with him about the race, he had mentioned this feud between John Anderson and Chris Roberts, right? within the race. And they run the first, I don't know, 75% of the race together. They're not taking a step away from each other. And then they start to throw down later in the race. So these two guys are going to essentially pace you to a decent time, right? So you just run half the race with them. And if you're feeling good, go on ahead. If not, try to hang on, whatever. But that those guys are gonna lay down a jacket winning time.
Well, that's good to know. I appreciate the tip. I'll keep an eye out. I noticed in one of the, I think it was an email or something, he said everyone, you have to he was very clear, you need to wear a name tag at the dinner and the meeting. He mentioned the name tags at least 2 or 3 times in one of the emails. So I was like, all right, I guess we're all wearing name tags. So I'm gonna go find the people I want to meet. So I'll keep an eye out for John and Chris.
Absolutely, man. Yeah.
I mean, the goal is to go out hot no matter what, so that I know who's in front. I'm gonna be counting heads as we go throughout the day, trying to see who's where. So
yeah, I wouldn't expect too many people outside of couple of people. Butch, Jordan, they went out. Everybody else was basically together, and that's what I would expect. Just to kind of stick it together. But you're gonna have a few people who go after it, and then everybody else is basically just gonna group up. But it should be fun. On the women's side of the race, did you get a chance to take a look at that at all, or just been focusing on the men's side?
No, I took a look. Sarah Colwell, I think her name is. She's a Maryland badass, and she's had some good results in some long races. But she's married to. I'm pretty sure he's married to a friend of mine's brother. So whenever I see him, that's how he tells you about what Sarah's up to.
Okay.
And I've met her, I think, very briefly once. She runs a Cat 50k down here in Frederick sometimes, and the Hoshua Hills 50k. He was one, and then there's some names of women that I've seen throughout the years, doing really well. Mostly older ladies that have been around for a while. I think Kathleen Cusick is on the list.
Okay, yeah.
There was like a handful of just like local legend badasses that I definitely need to introduce myself to.
Yeah, it looks like not on the older side, but is it Nora Jorday? Did you see her on there?
I'm not familiar. No, I saw the name.
Yeah. So did I get that name wrong? Jodry, not Jorday. Or Jodry. I'm sorry, I don't know how to say this name. But 28 years old out of Bethesda, Maryland. I think that she is the top returner in the race, and has been improving at the race. And it's kind of cool to see somebody, young person, getting out there, getting after it, and like coming back to this race year after year. So I think that she should do pretty well. Shannon Howell, Whitney Richmond as well. Big returners on this race. I didn't really do a deep dive into people who hadn't run the race before. Was mostly looking at people returning to the race.
For sure, yeah. Well, I couldn't believe didn't mention it first, but Kristen Kelman. I mentioned Erin Kelman, her husband. Kristen ran Massanutten this year with me as well, and did pretty well. So she'll be poised with her mom strength to crush for sure this weekend. I'm excited to see both of them out there.
Yeah, it should be a great race. When you finish up, make sure you've brought a sleeping bag along. You're gonna wanna crawl into that bag and just go to sleep at least for like an hour or something.
Sounds nice.
Do you have what do you have for lodging at all? Like nothing?
No, my boy Danny Rogers, another shout out. He's the other Frederick guy going. He'll be there, and he said he rented one of the bunkhouses. So I don't know if that's separate from. In one of the emails, David Horton, Dr. Horton, excuse me, said that I think there's bunks that you can call dibs on if there's like a room of bunks for after the race.
Yeah, you should be fine. Yeah, get down there, get yourself an hour or two of sleep or whatever, and take plenty of caffeine during the race.
Yep, that's also my plan. I've been caffeine tapering as well. So
what kind of gear are you using for the race? What's the plan?
I have been like going back and forth on the thicknesses of some different things. I'd like to try and do it all in the same outfit. Maybe change a shirt from a drop bag at some point, but I'm gonna try to have a layer I can take off once the sun comes up, and but I'm going pants. I've got a pair of Tracksmith pants that are just like so comfy that I can't go anywhere else with that. The pants just they're the best. And a friend of mine works at On and gave me a pair of the Ultra 3s, not the Pros, but the Ultra. They're like Ultra 3 shoe. It has a plastic plate. And they're just so comfy, so I'm looking forward to wearing those for a long day. I wore them in the rut earlier this fall.
What did you think of that race, by the way?
The rut was badass, man. The elevation, and I was like full on vacation mode. It was a Sunday race, and I just had a full on Friday and Saturday night, and just rolled right into Sunday morning, and things felt about accordingly. But yeah, it's 10K of climbing in 30 miles, and you climb up to the tippy top of the mountain. It's like over 11,000 feet you peak out at. The race is badass. The single track sections were awesome, and it was up above tree line for probably close to like 10, 15 miles of it. Yeah, it was good. The weekend in general is like just lots of fun. Everybody's at the ski resort to hang out. Yeah, definitely recommend the Rut for sure.
Definitely got to do it. So sorry, you had said you ran the Rut in the on threes, the Ultra 3. Are you doing pack? Are you doing waist belt?
I think technically I'm going to wear both. The aid stations seem like they're decently close together, and I'm hoping to need a little less fluid. But I'm going to have 3 bottles on me at all times and probably fill them. And just like a bottle in the butt crack is kind of my third spot. Nice and secure.
Yeah.
For sure.
So are you planning on like, I don't know, like the last 10 miles going without a vest, like dropping one in a drop bag? Like, I'm trying to think of where the drop bag points are. I think are there 2 drop bag points? There's
2, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've done that in races before, like just leave the vest behind for the last little section. I've also been feeling this like pull to like respect the raw nature of Hellgate, so I might just keep it on to round out the experience.
Well, if you have your drop bag, what do you mean? you just want to have a pack cramp in your back for the last 20 miles to have a full Hellgate experience?
If it's bothering me, I'll definitely leave it for sure. So we'll see.
Yeah, I will say I went a little bit small with my drop bag stuff. I would opt on the side of having my drop bag be a little bit bigger. Not that I would have more stuff in my drop bag, but just so that I could drop more into it easier.
So leave it. Yeah.
I'm not sure if I remember correctly, but I feel like your drop bag, they move from station to station. It's like you get one drop bag and it goes
correct.
to the first station and then it goes to the second one too. So yeah, so it was one of those things where you have to like repack it and then so you have to like repack your drop bag twice. So that's a good thing to remember. Everybody watching, Hellgate, like they say that the bag has to be a certain size. Make sure you leave enough space in your drop bag to drop the stuff that you're wearing. So if it's like a shell and you're ready to get rid of it, got to be able to drop it in there, you know? And so I was like really struggling, especially at the second aid station, to get all of my shit into the bag. I had like I had like a deer leg sticking out the top. It was rough. Yeah, it's Hellgate. You slaughter an animal along the way, and you can only take a certain amount along with you, kind of like early Oregon Trail kind of stuff.
Yeah, I never know.
Yeah. So I had a lot of trouble.
Drop bags are at 22.4 and 42.5. So I guess you get one for the front end of the race. You get one during the day and one during the night, or during the night and during the day.
Yeah, I mean I will say if I were doing it again, I would have a plan to be vestless for the last 20 miles.
Cool. I can do that. I run with my belt every day usually, so that's definitely doable.
Yeah, I would think if you can carry 2 soft flasks, you're probably gonna be fine at that point, as long as they're like highly concentrated. You got like, what kind of gels do you use? Do you use gels?
Yeah, I'm doing gels, and I like the Morton gels because you can get 40, the big Mortons, you can get 40 grams a pop. They don't usually mess with me. It was all I could eat during the 100 this year. It was like Morton. I do the Morton gels and the raspberry lemonade goose. That was like the magic combo. I was like eating them all day, and I just couldn't wait. I was like 30 minutes on the dot. I was like, I want to have another one of these. That was good. So I'm gonna go with the big Mortons and the I've got like 2 or 3 different flavors of the goose. Couple caffeinated ones, but usually I get my caffeine just from the capsules, 30 milligrams at a time. And I like the Scratch high carb drink mix. It's my jam.
This has been coming up recently. A lot of people are enjoying the Scratch high carb.
Dude, it's legit. I have a friend who's like a kinesiology exercise science person, and when we go on our runs, I just ask him questions and he explains things to me like I'm 5. And his explanation of that cluster dextrin they use is it's basically it's longer lasting, like sort of slower burning fuel rather than the glucose and the fructose. So I believe him, and I don't actually know whether that's true or not, but it seems to work that way. I've been like crushing a big glass of it before every run, and it's been helping. And it's light.
Yeah,
the taste is light. It's like not overly sweet.
Yeah, so different people have said different things about it. So you've said, like, light, overly sweet, or not overly sweet. Other person had said they thought it almost tasted sour. I've felt that like it tastes chalky. Like I get like a chalky feeling to it. So I feel like it tastes really 7.
Yeah, that's your problem right there.
That's the concentration.
Yeah, I've never put all. I usually put 4 max.
Yeah. Well, 7 is hard to dissolve.
It's already hard to dissolve in general. I usually I let it sit out overnight if I'm using it in the morning, because with like cold water, it's going to take, I don't even know how long it takes because I just let it sit.
Yeah, it is. It's a nuts thing. And I think this is maybe one of the more helpful things we've done on this podcast is like a long form discussion on dissolving Scratch. And that is that you need to give it overnight. Yeah. It's pretty intense. So you're doing like 250 calories per bottle with 4 scoops? Is that what that would be?
Yeah, something like that. I'm gonna do some
something like that.
I'm gonna do some 2 scoopers and some 4 scoopers. I have like the Scratch additional electrolyte sodium powder too.
Yeah, because high carb does not have a lot of sodium in it. Yeah.
No, I think it's like 400 milligrams, I think, for this big serving size. But yeah, I'm gonna go like minimum 1 GU, 1 Morton an hour. So like the first couple of hours, I'm gonna go towards like 100 grams an hour. I'm not gonna be. I don't like being super strict about it. I just try to make sure I'm eating enough. And I've have figured out what that feels like. If I want to crank it, like if the sun is coming up and I want to, like you said, I stuck with Chris and John and, I'm feeling all right. Take a couple extra gels to make sure I've got some fuel in the tank.
Yeah. Well, make sure you drop at least 1 Red Bull in your drop bag for the last 20 miles.
Sounds fun.
It's important. We're here at the Barret Trail podcast. We're big Red Bull fans. We think that is the way to get through the end of your race. Just shoot one of those Red Bulls and go for it.
Cool. I've never had a Red Bull. You've
had your caffeine taper. Oh,
so
all right, yeah, just rip that Band-Aid off.
Well, I'll get 2 and try one this week, and then I'll be fine.
No, don't try one this week. No, that's a bad idea. You're on a caffeine taper. You can't do that. You'll like ruin your taper. No good.
Well, you've been very generous with your trade secrets here, so I appreciate it.
Hey, you know what they say? Yeah, opinions are like assholes. We've all got one. Yeah. And for me, I've got several. Uh, oh, dude. So are you excited for Hat? You ready to come back and throw down at Hat again?
I'm all but in. Yeah, I gotta sign up just so I can't use find an excuse at the last minute. But Pat has been in touch. Um, yeah, dude.
I think Pat was
Congrats.
like the first person to sign up.
I bet he was. Yeah, I congrats on an epic JFK and the team win. That was pretty cool for you guys. I love that picture in the gym, and I know you all obviously didn't score, but everybody ran really well, and I was super pumped for you and Chris and Pat
Yeah.
to be that tight there at the end.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I didn't score for the team, but I felt good that had I scored, we still would have won.
That's a good point.
You know
Yeah,
what I
you were only
mean?
a couple minutes off. Yeah.
Like it didn't matter. Like all five of us, like we all ran well enough to win the race. So that felt good. Like that. We didn't end up doing the podcast we were talking about doing, but Pat had shared that I brought him out of like the depths of despair. That had I not come up on him and essentially just like berated him into into running faster, that like he would not have got to the finish line.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it didn't get me to come around. Oh
One
well.
for two ain't bad.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, I'm like the
I was
meatloaf of ultra runners.
I was happy for him. Dude is a dog. A hard day for him. So I was glad to see him, gut it out at the JFK.
Yeah, yeah, it's one where you start talking to yourself a lot. Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, dude. And everybody under 7 hours on the squad was epic. That's like for, a group of mostly just regular dudes, those badass times.
Well, it's interesting. So, I was listening to, was it been the Boulder Boys podcast earlier today, and they were talking about the Trail Runner of the Year voting, Ultra Run of the Year, this type of stuff. And apparently there is a trail running team of the year.
The new addition, to the Free Trail Awards.
Yeah, and I was like, we're clearly not going to like pop up on any of these trail running team of the years type things. But I think about like actual teams that have been like trying to do stuff and like get things going. Bear Right is we got to be up there.
It's on the rise for sure. I mean, there's a big showing at the JFK.
Yeah, I mean, taking down Stephen Kirsch and Ryan Raff.
Not too shabby. And I know it sounds like a lot of time, but you only an hour off of the Coconino Cowboys.
Were we that far off?
It was 56 minutes. Yeah, I had to look it up before I came on. Yeah.
Well, I think that it's well within reach.
I mean, yeah, you don't have Jim running whatever 5:15, but whatever he ran that year.
Well, I mean, we had Ferdinand running 5:35, so that helped
for sure.
But we had expected it to have a little bit better showing from the middle of the pack, but that's okay. That's okay. Next year we'll give it another go. And I will say, my point being is that like when it comes to actual team racing, like there's not a whole lot of it out there. We started it with the Battle of the Mason-Dixon. I'm hoping it gets some legs. I think it'll be really cool.
Good. I think it's come up on like some of the long run archives the single track does. It's definitely because a lot of obviously a lot of people race cross country, and those are like good memories. Hoofing it out at the end of a race, trying to place for the squad, and so it's like And plus, there's plenty of people that aren't going to win any of these races, and so it's cool to have like a little
something else to work for.
Race.
Yeah,
for sure. Because that's like, to have something, a little carrot to dangle in front of yourself to, keep pushing the gas down, is helpful. I think as far as the local, independent races go, it would be lots of fun.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to get some stuff out there about our team and like what we're trying to do. And that said, people who have made it this far in the podcast, like if for some reason we showed up in your Spotify Wrapped, like make sure to like share that. That'd be really cool if people like talk about like their Spotify. I like other podcasts keep saying this, so I was like, you know what, I should say it too. And I do know that we have showed up in people's Spotify Wrapped. It's been shared with me. Share it with the greater community, please. And this is the nutso thing. I got to look at like where our listeners are. And number one, clearly United States, right? Not surprising. Number two, Lithuania.
Also hilarious.
I've been told it's likely bots, but Lithuania overtook Canada and France. So big time win for Bear Right Trail podcast in Lithuania. Oh, dude. Well, man, I think we're getting towards the end of it here. Simon, good luck coming up this weekend. You're in for a real treat.
I appreciate it. Yeah, thanks for sharing some info, and thanks for having me on. It's always nice to catch up. And
oh, thanks, man. Thanks. Yeah.
Also, dude, the episode, I think the Carolyn Showalter David Sinclair episode is my new favorite Bear Right episode. That was like hilarious when David would ask her questions. Like he just seemed like he was having a blast hearing her tell her stories, and I know I was too. I think you mentioned her ultrasign page is only JFK. It's all it is. It's like whatever 33 or 36 JFKs. So I really enjoyed her.
Yeah, well, hey, Simon, thanks for sharing that, because I was really excited about that episode. I think having Carolyn on was, quite frank, I mean, maybe it's not the only reason why David Sinclair would come on my podcast. But I think that there had to be something about like, hey, this is different than just like a regular podcast interview that like was intriguing to him. At least I hope so. That's how I like pitched it. But I too thought that was really interesting to see the different places where our sport has been, like what it came from, and then sort of this really kind of professionalized, high performance end of it as well, but then the intrigue of where it came from and sort of the interest in the past and stuff like that. I thought that intersection was really fun to explore, and it was really cool because you see Carolyn and how she came into the sport has nothing to do with like the way we're coming into it. It was not cool. There was no like Max Joliffe and Satisfy and all this kind of like cool stuff going on, right? Like there's none of that. It's just a bunch of people in cotton shirts and like hiking boots in the mud with a canteen and a Volvo. Like that's the race. And you're just doing it for decades, and then
Boonesboro to Williamsport.
Yeah, and then it's this, and now it's like a big thing, and it's launching people's careers. I thought it was fun to explore. I'm probably not the best person to like set that kind of stuff up, but I'm glad that I was there.
Who else is going to invite David Sinclair and Carolyn Showalter on a podcast? I laughed out loud like several times. It was thoroughly enjoyable. I remember where I was. It was cool. I remember being like, damn, crushing it. Got David Sinclair. And yeah, I just remember him laughing and asking her if she carried a bottle. And I loved that. I was like, wow, that is hilarious. David Sinclair was like, wow, how did this lady do that? This dude ran 5:08 at JFK, and he was wondering how she did it, it was cool.
Yeah, because I think, I think that there's like a great curiosity, and that's the thing, like in this sport, like we see these people, we see them do these superhuman things. And then like if you meet David Sinclair, or Ferdinand, who ran 5:35 there, or you meet Will Murray, who crushed Javelina earlier this year and is like bursting onto the scene. They're these really interesting different people, and David, for instance, like one of the most quiet, kind of sensitive, curious people that you'd ever want to meet, just very, just like a silent competitor, but not, it doesn't feel like a killer. You know what I mean? In the sense of as far as out there on the course, but then that he is.
But he is, yeah.
Yeah. And I've just found that these people are just so generous, I guess, with their time and their stories. And I've been so hesitant to reach out to people and try to bring them on the podcast. Because I'm like, why would they want to talk to me? And almost every time people have been like, yeah, sure. I'll cut it out. I'll carve out an hour for you. Let's make this work. And I've just been every time I'm just floored. I'm like, it's amazing that people want to do that. So it's been fun. It's been fun. Gonna keep doing it.
Yeah, you should. It's awesome, man. I like listening, and it's a cool little community.
All right. Well, thanks to everybody who's been listening tonight, and thank you, Simon. Good luck.
Appreciate you, brother.
Happy trails, guys.